Hey, this is Max. Welcome back to another CSR2 video. I am here with the DAMD Mitsubishi Evolution. At least that's what I think it's pronounced, because it's spelled D-A-M-D. So it's that DAMD Mitsubishi Evolution. Anyway, DAMD is a body kit company from Japan, and this is basically your Mitsubishi Evolution 7 with the body kit. As a former owner of a Mitsubishi Evolution 8, I do have a soft spot for this car, so naturally I ended up acquiring it for my main account and building it for the purpose of the Fast and Furious event. I have not finished the event, but what I wanted to talk to you today about is using this car for Tempest 3 Tier 4 because it is capable of getting through the entire event without switching cars, assuming of course you have enough upgrades. Alright, so first thing first, we need to get to 625 pp to start the process because that's the lowest bracket you're going to start with. Lowering the pp point down requires you to find the highest drop items, stages with the lowest evo impact. Generally speaking, body tend to drop quite a few points. Not all cars have this impact, but dropping body down to stock, you can watch if it drops a decent amount of evo points. Body tend to be one of those things that either has a good impact or very little impact on the performance of the car for speed traps and stuff, but yet with a ton of changes in evo points. In this case though, it doesn't seem to do a whole lot up to stage 4. So maybe we'll leave it be at stage 4 and then look to the next one. For purpose of 625, you're only needing to hit like a 5.0 0 to 100 and a 190 mile per hour speed. So it's not really all that difficult to hit, but grip is probably not going to be one of your issues. And look how many evo points we dropped by dropping tire. And that's important because you just dropped quite a bit. You want to do that. Transmission, again, having super fast shifts isn't really necessary at this stage, and you want to lose those points. So we're down to 633 without even dropping too many of the stage 6s. So now we have about 8 points to make out of these guys that are left. Why did I leave these in for now? Because all 4 of these are the type of things that help you with speed traps. I can almost guarantee you the speed traps well over 190 at this point. What I can do now is to sacrifice some of the stage 6s that generally gives a little bit of a bump. And I'm going to sacrifice turbo. Ooh, I'm very close already. And now I still have 2 stage 6s in. So now it becomes, do I want to drop this 1 stage of body? Because remember, this was about 1 point. Oh, I actually lost more than 1 point, but that's a decent amount of evo I'm losing. So let's put that back. And let's look at intake here. 3 fusions. Oh, here I'm missing 2 anyway. I'm going to drop this because I know this drops points. Alright, 624, but I didn't lose as many evo, so that's a good start. So this is a tune with stage 6 engine and stage 6 nitrous. You know, with stage 6s involved, at this PP level, you should have no problem getting what you need to get speed-wise. 199, and again, that is with a bad tune, right? You want to make sure you can hit 190 guaranteed, put it here. 181, but actually the car will accelerate hard enough to make easy over 190. When you're cutting it close, you want to tweak the numbers here. It's really between grip and final drive for that 190 mile per hour, in case you're a little more off than I am on some of these things like nitrous, for example. More nitrous theoretically helps you with a higher top speed, but don't worry about that so much. You can leave it lower. If you don't have the stage 6s, your tune's going to be different. Let's go look at a different setup without any stage 6s. So let's say you're not so lucky to have nitrous stage 6 or engine. You're going to get stuck later, but at least at this stage in the game, you can still make it. Okay, so now you're down to 614, but you can start adding other stuff in. Let's say we can put turbo stage 5 in. We can put trans stage 5 in. And probably tires, well no, tire actually bumps a lot. Let's try body first. Nope, too much. Alright, so maybe stage 4 tire will still undercut it. Right there, alright. This is a no stage 6 625 sit-up. Notice the Evo is a lot lower, which means you're not pushing as much nitrous power and stuff, so you're going to have to adjust nitrous duration a bit. At least get it to about 3.2, 3.3, 3.5, 3.6 is even better. Still, 193 is no issue. These two, even with this low grip tune, already beats the target number, but you know, obviously you can get that very low with the high grip tune. So putting it somewhere around here, and we're not even trying to tune it really well, 193 is no issue. Now, some of you are going to say, whoa, that's not quarter mile speed. Yeah, but Tempest doesn't require you to hit top speed at quarter mile in tier 4 and 5. You're actually doing it in the half mile. So this is not like the Evolution and Golden Cups. So don't get them confused. Golden Cup, Evolution Cup, you got to hit those target numbers in the quarter mile. This is in the half mile. All right, 625 being done. Let's move on to 630. Now, 630, the speed trap jumps to 210. Uh-oh. Now, we only have 5 points to play with here. And 0 to 100 drops to 4.5. 0 to 60 drops to 3.5. That's not a whole lot and not a big deal. The issue now is going to be, how am I going to get to that 210 without breaking out of that bracket? Well, obviously, you can try adding body, but guess what? Not going to do it. You can add tire, but more tire actually may not help you with the speed trap, and it pushes it over. So that means, are we stuck trying to get through the speed trap at 625 then? Before we start to really push 630 in other ways by using stage 6, let's go back and hit that 210 if at all possible. So is it possible? That's the first question. Well, 210's right here. If I put it to this setting, it says I can only do 195. So that's kind of pushing it, right? You may not be able to do 210 because you don't have enough power to pull it off. 195 to 210, you're talking about you got to surpass the theoretical by almost 10 mile per hour. Changing it to a different setting here doesn't, ooh, that helps, 204? That changes the issue here. Wait, see if this will help anymore. Nope. So, fourth gear at 210 has possibilities. Let's test run it. Now, you're going to want to use nitrous in fourth gear. All right, so this takes a lot of patience, and then you push nitrous because you want this car to hit the final speed in top gear. And we just got through 210. Notice how slow it got near the end there. This is kind of my concern, but 210's 210. We got it at 625, so that's done. Plus, even at this setting, you're still good for both the 0 to 60 and 0 to 100. So theoretically, we don't have to tune to 630 at all to beat the 630 bracket. You can leave it. Right. So we know that 625 and 630 both can be done without hitting 630. But what if I actually wanted to set it to 630? And I have some stage 6s. The one I would want you to avoid stage 6 at all is the tire. Okay, not only because 5 and 6 adds a lot of PP points, but also it doesn't really help with this car's 0 to not 0 to 60, but the speed traps. Body does help, engine helps, turbo helps. So all these others do something, and it might be worth it to put them in. And some of these, like engine, will push you right to 629. Turbo, 629. Intake, 627. And nitrous. No, it's over. But assuming you want to put nitrous in, you can always drop tire back down to 3. And you're still good, 628. So you may even be able to sneak in something else. No, not really. Okay, so that's one option. Or you can drop a stage of body instead, which actually is a big change as well. And alternatively, that's another method to hit something close to 630. But what you want to watch is the Evo. The higher the Evo you end up with without final retuning, near 630, the better. So with nitrous stage 6 added, your ability to hit 610 should become easier. I mean 610, what am I saying? 210 should become easier. And you may be able to do it in 5th gear or 4th gear at this point. But again, it'll slow down a lot near the end. So you want to kind of tweak it so that the nitrous will be running as long as possible. Okay. By giving longer duration nitrous, you can theoretically hit 207. Although there's a point at which if it's too long a nitrous duration, you have to hit it really early. But your point is you want to ride nitrous at the end. So whether you do a short duration burst with more power or high duration burst with less power, the key is that by the time you hit the very end, you should be at the very end of your nitrous. So it's a matter of timing more than anything. Can this setting easily hit 210 without full nitrous? I'll put it to 4.2, which only says it does 203, and we'll try to hit 210 with it again. Okay, here we go. So again, late nitrous is going to be the key here. So you're just going to ride through the gears, and you're also watching your progress on the top. Obviously, you want to have no more than half track if at all possible, so you can get to the end of the track at 218, right? So here you go, 218, no problem. All right, so that was 628. We're almost hitting 218 mile per hour. The next part gives you a nice jump. Now you're looking at an entire jump of 10 pp points. So the next part here is 640, which has a major jump in the mile per hour as well because it goes up to 230. Now you definitely need stage 6s, and you're going to start pushing other stages as well. You can obviously put body up first, but body gives a lot of points. If you put stage 5 in, you're almost done for points you can add. Let's assume we don't want to add anything other than nitrous stage 6. Let's go test this, see if we can hit 230. All right. Dyno says 214. Not promising. What about if I put this to 230? 212. Not promising, but 230 should be around here. So 212 versus 214. 4th gear may sound better in theory, right? What if we put 4th gear to a little more aggressive? 209. All right. So let's test run 4th gear first, but I'll put nitrous to about 4.9. 213, 214. It really depends on where you put this. It'll give you a little higher theoretical number, but you want to make sure it at least tops out at 230. Now, this means 4th gear runs actually from about 175, I would just say, okay, all the way to 230. Now, you're not going to have nitrous for the whole duration, so most likely you're going to activate nitrous somewhere in the higher RPMs. This is 6,000 should put you at about, well, 6,500 should put you at about 200 mile per hour, so you have 30 mile per hour to make, but 8,000 RPM will put you around 230. So you probably want to hit nitrous somewhere in the middle there. So I'm going to try to hit nitrous somewhere around 65, well, maybe not, because I have enough duration, maybe 5,500 to push 4th gear. But that means, again, I'm going to go through the first 3 gears without any nitrous. And watching progression on the top, I want to make sure I have enough track to push through. 6,000, I'm going to hit nitrous. It's getting there. And we barely made it, right? 230.2. So it was tight. Now, could I have used nitrous slightly later, maybe to push it just a little more? Possibly, but remember, this is with stage 6 nitrous. Now let's go back and try an alternative without stage 6 nitrous. Can it still be done? Okay, no stage 6 nitrous. What are we going to do? Well, you have about 9 points to play with here. I would say something like this would be what you're looking for. Turbo and engine. Now, I don't have the fusions in turbo. Maybe I can throw intake in and do the same thing. Because intake at least have the fusions. Notice the evo's up there. This is an alternative setup, but can it hit the numbers that we're looking for? 224. Only 6 mile per hour off. If anything, this is actually higher mile per hour to start with than with nitrous, right? If it's already only 6 mile per hour off, and we have the nitrous duration, shouldn't we be able to pull this off? Let's try it. So you can tell that having the engine and turbo in will make a big difference in the car's ability to accelerate to a certain speed. Look at how much faster it's going up third gear. Now, I will run out right near the end, but I got 230. There it is, 232. All right. So, not too bad. We do have enough here without nitrous to hit 230s. The same theory would apply when you go and look at it for other levels of upgrades, right? Engine, turbo, and intake obviously plays a big point in speed traps. So now we're going to move to the 658 pp point. That's a big jump. That's 18 points you can put in. 18 points also means you have to hit 250. That's another 20 mile per hour too. So let's look at what we got left here we can do. If you don't have the right stage 6s, then you're going to have to struggle a little bit. This is where upgrades really start to come into its own. If you're missing fusions, you're missing stage 6s, you're probably not going to make it past this point. But let's say we do put in some stage 6s, and the ones that give a nice Evo jump, you can pretty much put in 3 or 4 stage 6s at this point, including nitrous, or upgrade tire more, but I would leave tire alone for now. Let's see if we can get away with this one. Yep, you can put trans in, or you can put nitrous in. But I want to point out something. You definitely want to try to have these for speed traps. Let's say we take turbo and intake out, okay, and we just add trans in. Let's go look at top speed without crazy fine tuning, but we will fine tune it a little bit because you need to see if it can hit that 250 mile per hour. So nitrous, again, low duration. Your 4th gear right now it's at 230. 5th gear is way up there. The dyno says 228, so, which is right around where you're putting it. But if you go here, you can theoretically hit about 260 in 4th gear, and it's telling you 221. Uh-oh. So you're probably going to want to do it this way, 222. 222 is a ways off from 250. And that means we're also already using as much of the tunes as we can. 233 if you use a really long duration, but I don't recommend that. I stick with the short duration. So the real question now is, can I push another 25 mile per hour out of this car with the upgrades that I have in 5th gear? That's a good question, and I'm not sure the answer, because until I see something happening with these numbers, 25 miles an hour more is a big push. Let's give it a shot. So without turbo intake and engine, notice things are a lot more difficult for these speed traps. So that means the speed traps actually favors those particular stage 6s over nitrous. Unusual, but not totally unexpected. Now, we're still pushing a pretty good number, but 244 isn't going to do it. 245, not quite, 244.6, right? So, and that's pretty much doing what I can here. Obviously, I could try to push a little more nitrous duration, but remember, with less power, the acceleration's a little slower. So even though this may go up, your ultimate number may stay near the same, and it ultimately may not be enough to get to 250. So let's go back and put in the speed trap stage 6s. So in nitrous and trans are not the key stage 6s for speed traps. They're helpful, but not even body, I would say, is all that useful as far as pure stage 6 for speed traps, but we got the points, so let's leave it in. But turbo intake, which only puts us to about 249, and maybe one stage of tire. We don't want too much tire. Too much tire actually hurts the speed traps, but this one stage may help. Let's go back and test again. So I took out trans and nitrous, and I'm looking at 243. Look at that. So just adding in that turbo and intake will get us pretty much to 250, because I know it can outrun 244. Okay, so I'm going to tweak it a little more aggressively. 244.6, that's about 260. Let's do this. Again, we're going to run this with minimal nitrous activity until the very end. Not too far at the end because it'll hurt me, but 257.867 is not bad at all. That is well over 250. In fact, it's almost 260. Hitting 260 with just this setting is going to be a little tough. One more stage 6 probably is going to be needed. But here, what we have concluded through testing should be that you need engine, turbo, and intake for good speed traps. You don't really need stage 6 tire, trans, or nitrous, but obviously for that 260 mile per hour, nitrous will be helpful. I don't think trans is as helpful as nitrous, to be honest. So trans and tire could be left off to hit the 260 mile per hour. But you're over the 658 limit, right? You're at 663. But this is basically easy 260. Can you hit 260 without the nitrous? Probably. But at this point in time, we also need to hit that 1.4940 to 60. Let's go look at that. 1.448. Okay. That's certainly better than 494, but let's kind of increase our odds here as much as we can. 1.305, how's that sound? Looks like a one gear wonder if you tune it this way. So that sounds like, to me, I will be launching and nitrous immediately and then just watch it bounce the needle. Let's try it. Oh, quarter mile, so I don't have to run the whole thing. Here we go. Okay, that was first gear nitrous, and let's see what it gives us. 1.284. So 0 to 60 doesn't seem that difficult. So again, back to our initial goal, which is to hit 260 mile per hour, 256 with nitrous, right? Let's do a quick test run to verify that it'll hit 260 mile per hour. Now I have a pretty long duration on this, so I can use it in third gear because nitrous is already there for 6.7 seconds, and that should be more than enough to push you through. And there it is. No problem at all. At this point in the game, or in Tempest, you're really looking at either you're maxed out or close to maxed out here with this car, or you're not. If you're missing a lot of fusions, you're probably going to need all the stage 6s to compensate. Unfortunately for you, tire stage 6, if anything, hurts the speed trap rather than help. You can actually get a little better speed trap if you're short on power without the stage 6 tire than if you had it. It does help. Don't say that it doesn't, but it doesn't help that much. So tire is the one that you really don't need that much of. 10.8 is the time. Now, mind you, Donna's final time is only like a 12.3, I think, 12.2. So your car is way faster at even 658 PB point to beat that. So don't worry about the time runs. You will get through it. The real issue here is going to be those speed traps. That's the one part where a little bit of tuning, a little bit of struggle may happen. The 0 to 60, if you have enough fusions and parts, there should be no struggle. So in the end, you can make it through with this car, but you're going to have to get a decent amount of upgrades to actually use it without swapping. And really, if it came down to it and you don't have it much upgraded, you're really looking at using this car specifically for more the 0 to 60 than the actual speed trap. That being said, BMW M5 competition is just still easier to use than this Mitsubishi, and this is a paid-for car rather than a free car. But if you're already using it because you spent money on it, again, I kind of showed you the level of upgrades you kind of need to easily cruise through. If you're close, playing with nitrous timing, playing with the PP limit, with adjusting different parts, that is going to be what you need to do to kind of find the trick to get through each challenge. But having the fusions, very important, because if you're missing enough epic fusions, your entire challenge changes because you're going to be a lot slower, you're going to have a lot less power. So do understand that you have to have almost as many fusions as full fusions. They actually impact the ability to hit the speed trap sometimes more than just a stage 6. Alright, so I hope that video was helpful to you as far as contemplating using this car for Tempest 3 Tier 4. Feel free to ask me questions about things I play with on the tune. I can't show everything on the video, but test and tuning, there are different strategies. If you have certain stage 6 missing and you really can't use it, there are certain strategies. Perhaps we can alternate other parts to hit the lower PP limits and still get through. If you liked the video, please leave a like. Let me know that the video was helpful. Always feel free to comment. I'm usually pretty responsive. And thank you for watching my videos. Please subscribe to the channel so you can get notifications when I put up new videos. I'll catch you next time with another CSR2 video. Have a good one.